Very interesting. But entirely unilluminating, since I cannot read Morse.
It wouldn't be much good if you did, sir. It's in code.
But from the general atmosphere of cloying smugness, I would infer the code has been broken.
Correct. The experts have excelled themselves this time.
You see, we can't locate their transmission source. They don't send every day, and when they do, it's in short bursts, so we can't get a fix.
Which is why we need your assistance.
Gladly.
With the Home Office.
Out of the question.
Well, I think so. Perhaps when you've heard what we've got to say...
No, definitely not. This section operates on its own. I decline to involve any government department.
Let me translate the message for you. Egret safe in nest. Osprey still in cage. Contact being arranged.
Very ornithological.
We know that egret is one of the several code names used by Richmond.
Richmond. Hunter, this section will locate that transmitter and pick him up.
I did say, sir, we didn't have very much time. And with Richmond running around loose, we can't afford to waste any. Now, there is another name on that tape.
Osprey.
Yes. Otherwise known as Flo Mayhew, otherwise Svetlana Suryakin, KGB, Major.
I see. And you think that she might know where Richmond would have gone?
Up to this time, it's about the only thing of value she does know. And I think she would tell us. Under pressure.
Thin ice, Hunter. Repercussions.
Psychological pressure.
What assistance do you require?
Well, the bird is in the cage.
Yes, a completely new wardrobe, Liz. Latest styles, of course. I want, well, if not haute couture, at least clothes that give an impression of the good life.
Yes, sir. 2 coats, 1 trouser suit, 3 day dresses, shoes, and...
That's a lot.
Not quite a lot, sir.
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Well, use your initiative, Liz. I'm prepared to authorize expenditure of up to £100.
That won't go very far.
Something wrong?
That would scarcely pay for the initiative, sir.
Yeah, I see. Well, whatever you think. Just don't bankrupt the firm. Now, David, how is the lady?
Keen. Try not to show it, but she's keen.
You feel no compunction about this operation?
About Flo Mayhew? Oh, yeah. About as much compunction as she showed when she tried to knock me off.
Yes, David, excursions. Blue sky, green leaves, fresh air. All part of the conditioning. You'll take precautions, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. You say she knows nothing of value?
Nothing of value to the KGB, but I imagine she could supply us with a fair amount of current information.
Current, yeah. The out of date, what, 2 years?
Or less. Why?
She's doing 14.
She's an agent.
Oh, come on, she's a woman. 14 years, it'll break her.
I think she'll break a lot sooner than that, without hope. I read the psychiatrist's report very thoroughly before I put this project in hand.
I bet you did.
Well, you were as keen on the idea as I was.
I'm still keen on the idea. I want it to work. Of course I do. But once it's worked, she's no more use to us. Oh, come on. I was just thinking, lop a bit off her sentence. Cut it in half, say.
We're not a parole board, David. And even if I had the authority, we wouldn't be doing her any favors, would we?
No, Miss May, you don't quite understand. I'm afraid the news is rather distressing.
That's what I call typical British understatement.
Please don't make it more difficult.
Make what more difficult?
Despite the most strenuous efforts on our part, I must inform you that a situation has arisen which precludes any possibility of you being returned to the Soviet Union.
Cullen, what's he saying? There's been a setback.
No, the difficulties are rather more permanent nature. You see, in the course of events, our colleagues in the CIA were informed of the impending exchange and reacted with asperity. In short, they feel it's simply not on.
So you started taking orders from the Americans?
It would be more accurate to say that we see their point of view. You wouldn't wish to cause a breach with our NATO allies, would you? Well, yes, perhaps you would, but we wouldn't. You were in Connecticut last year.
No.
CIA insists that you were. And furthermore, they say that you were part of an espionage network in that state. One which succeeded in penetrating Project Dolphin.
I've never even heard of it.
Now, they're convinced, Miss Mayo, that not only have you heard of it, but that you know far too much about it. We share that conviction.
But I deny it absolutely.
Yes, of course you would, wouldn't you? Sadly, the information you're said to possess is of such a long-term nature that any possibility of exchanging you now, or indeed in the future, must be ruled out completely.
What happens to me?
You will complete the remainder of your sentence. Just when you go back, there are certain arrangements to be made. You will be informed.
Isn't she supposed to be in solitary for another 2 days?
Yes, I see no reason why she shouldn't spend them in the comfort of these surroundings. Naturally, the excursions will be discontinued. Well, yes.
I'm not quite sure whether it's proper for me to express such an opinion, but I must say that your bearing in the face of this bitter disappointment can only compel admiration.
I'll have 14 years to practice it.
Good day, Miss
Mayhew.
Oh, that's something. One more fix. When the lines intersect, that's it.
The message was much longer this time.
The reply was much shorter. Yes. Oh, good. Good. Well done, David. No, I think we'd better have her back here. I'll send Mears to assist. Right? He thinks the lady is ready to talk business?
Do you know what I think this means, sir?
What I think it means.
Have you informed Callan, sir?
No. Neither necessary nor expedient.
Well, then, of course, I shan't either, sir.
I applaud your reticence.
Don't applaud, sir. That way your left hand would know what your right hand was doing.